So seemingly every single season that comes out, at least the last 3 seasons of Modern Warfare 3, I have made a very similar video to this one. But I promise, this is going to be the last time that I talk about this. And I really put this together because at the end of a year, I generally like to do a big video that is a review of the given Call of Duty game for that year. But this topic was too big to include in that video, so I wanted to just kind of have it stand alone and be its own thing. And that is the fact that Call of Duty, Activision, Sledgehammer, and Infinity Ward have all seemingly given up on the Modern Warfare story. And I truly believe we as players, as an audience, should as well. And I think through this video, you will see what I mean, because I'm going to talk about where this story started, how it developed, and then how it ended up, and leading to the question, what in the heck happened? Because there is clearly something big that happened somewhere along the line of development where they just completely gave up on one of the greatest stories ever told in Call of Duty. And let me explain to you what I mean, starting way back in the year 2019 with Modern Warfare 2019.
Who's your team?
Some old comrades.
I said it back then, and I will repeat myself. Modern Warfare 2019 is one of the best Call of Duty stories and campaigns ever told, for many, many reasons. And I'm going to go through a couple of those. First of all, the story that they tell with Captain Price and Gaz is brilliant. They kind of have this father-son duo where Price literally picks up Gaz off of the streets of London as a police officer and brings him in and works underneath him because he believes that Gaz's morals are so good and he can shape him to be this kind of amazing, amazing soldier.
We don't stand a chance in hell with these rules of engagement, Captain. They can tell us where, they can tell us when. Don't tell us how. My men were tracking that cell for weeks.
You had actual intel on this?
Quite a bit, sir.
Okay, Garrett. You're with me.
And throughout Modern Warfare 2019 as a whole, we see Gaz go from almost this innocent police officer to this hardened soldier taught by Captain Price. And I think that is a brilliant way of developing a character and this kind of father-son tutelage bond.
Boss, what the hell are we doing here?
We're cleaning up a mess.
With women and children.
They were leveraged.
They were hostages.
When you take the gloves off, you get blood on your hands, Kyle. That's how it works.
Where do we draw the line here, sir?
You draw the line wherever you need it, Sergeant. At the end of the day, someone has to make the enemy scared of the dark. We get dirty, and the world stays clean. That's the mission. Now, if you're having second thoughts, then I can do this on my own.
No, sir. No second thoughts.
Good. Now let's get out of here before he kills Barkov.
The second group of characters that we have in that game are Alex and Farah. Alex is this no-named CIA soldier with the code name of course, Alex. He works alongside these Urzikstan Liberation Forces, which I will come back to. And they kind of grow together and slowly begin to see each other's side of the world. Alex's side where he doesn't get to make any of his own decisions because he works for the CIA, and Farah having to work in these brutal, brutal conditions just to try to save her homeland. Alex eventually realizes that him making his own decisions and doing the right thing is far more important than just following orders.
I've been an assignment my whole life. This is what I believe in. Give me the order.
You are a freedom fighter, Alex.
You're a born leader, Farah. Say the word.
Go.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't just build characters though. As we've just talked about, they did an amazing job of developing these characters and telling the story of how they came to be. But they also do this with the world as well. And in that game, the world that they built was Urzikstan. They started us out way back with Farah and Hadir as children in Urzikstan, and we get to see the Russian attack on Urzikstan, how it changed that area, how the gas attack killed thousands, and slowly how the Urzikstan Liberation Force came to be, fighting against Russia and building this world view of exactly what was going on and setting up the future of a story that would continue not just in Modern Warfare 2019, but also Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 throughout this trilogy. And on top of that, it also did a good job of exploring bad guys, villains. There was actually many of them in Modern Warfare 2019. We had the Wolf, which was basically the leader of Al-Qatala, who then died, and we also saw his right-hand man, who was the Butcher, and eventually we saw Hadir, one of the Urzikstan Liberation Forces people, and Farah's brother slowly become the evil. And they built up this story where, in the post-credit scenes, in the Warzone story, and moving forward, Hadir was broken out of Russian jail by a group of Russians and was set up to be the next leader of Al-Qatala. And oddly, they never followed through with that story. And I truly believe that originally he was supposed to be Khalid al-Assad. He was supposed to be the next big bad guy and potentially the next big bad guy of Modern Warfare 2. And for some reason, somewhere along the lines, that just ended up getting cut. And I have no idea why. But the world building, the storytelling, the character, the narrative, everything built in Modern Warfare 2019 set up an amazing beginning of a story. And the beginning that would then carry into the next part of the story, the Modern Warfare 2 part of the story, which they actually teased in the post-credit scenes, which was the building of Task Force 141. And that started in Modern Warfare 2.
Weapons hard, vaqueros.
Now, I want to be clear here, Modern Warfare 2 was not as good as Modern Warfare 2019. It just wasn't. The storytelling, the elements were not quite there like they were in Modern Warfare 2019. And I think the reason for that is because Modern Warfare 2 was set to be the middle of a trilogy. It was made to set up the ending, the finale of the Modern Warfare trilogy. That is truly what I believe was going on here, because the story that they tell in Modern Warfare 2 really doesn't set up a big bad guy or anything that was going on in the world. It sets up the team. It sets up Task Force 141. And I think the best storytelling element that they had in Modern Warfare 2 was that of Ghost and Soap McTavish. We have Soap McTavish and Ghost, who are both relatively new characters who were introduced in Warzone after Modern Warfare 2019. They weren't main characters, so somehow we had to get attached to these characters. They had to write them deeper into the story. And the way that they did that is Soap was kind of like this new soldier who got put underneath the wing of Ghost. However, Ghost is Ghost. He liked working alone. And throughout this story, once Soap or Johnny goes off on his own and has to survive on his own, and Ghost kind of has to go in to rescue him, by the end of that mission, all of a sudden Ghost realizes it is better to work with a team than it is to work alone.
Where were you guys?
On the run.
I was on the run. Ghost waited for me. Of course, no?
No. Yes. We're a team. All of us. This happened on my watch and I'll need help to fix it. No one fights alone.
And because of this, we have the dawn, the beginning of Ghost Team, which is kind of like this sneaky team inside of Task Force 141.
This is a fight against our own. We are not 141 and Los Vaqueros on this. We're a team. Ghost Team. Good to see you again, Salman. If you're in, take a mask. If you're not, boom.
Now, the reason why I say that this was kind of a setup is because it was also building in General Shepard, Shadow Company, which kind of all ties in together towards the next thing, which is going to be the Makarov story. But the two things that it brought forth and built up is kind of a crescendo of the building of Task Force 141. Task Force 141 is now here, but guess who else is here? We also have Makarov.
Who is he?
Makarov.
And this is where Modern Warfare 3 comes in. And this part I have to be very clear. Up until this point, we have an amazing world builder of Modern Warfare 2019. We built up these characters, we built up their backstories, and then we have Modern Warfare 2 where it all comes together in Task Force 141 and it introduced Makarov. And this was the crescendo. This was the climax. This was supposed to be Makarov comes in. This is the beginning of World War III. And what can the team that we just built over the past years, Task Force 141, what can they do to stop it? I want to be clear. I think there were three missions that were made for Modern Warfare 3. I think the first mission where Makarov is rescued from the prison, I think that was one of them. I think the second one was Passenger, aka No Russian 2.0. And I think the third mission that was specifically designed was Flashpoint, the big twist where we get to see that Makarov was actually the one behind Verdansk. I think all three of those were originally planned for Modern Warfare 3, and that was supposed to set up Makarov and set up World War 3. Everything else within the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, I don't think was supposed to be there, because it doesn't make any sense. First of all, Makarov killing Soap McTavish and running off into the distance at the end of Modern Warfare 3 is pointless. Number one, if we look at what was going on at the end of that scene, we have Vladimir Makarov shoot Soap in the head, who is defusing a bomb with Captain Price, which technically makes sense because Soap is the demolitions expert. However, Soap and Captain Price have no chemistry whatsoever. If you remember what I just said, Modern Warfare 2 was Ghost and Soap. Modern Warfare 1 was Price and Gaz. Those were the two characters that had a relationship. So if anything, if there was actually to be emotion with characters, it should have either been Ghost and Soap defusing the bomb or Price and Gaz. And that didn't happen to begin with. So that just shows you how whoever wrote this mission didn't understand the story to begin with. On top of that, they left it off on this giant cliffhanger, which, if you go back to the beginning of Modern Warfare 3, I gave them a little bit of leeway. And in this leeway, I stated, you know what? Maybe they're trying to set up a post-credit, a Warzone story like they did with Modern Warfare 2019, where throughout the rest of the year in Warzone and things like that, they would tell the story of what is exactly going on here. And they started with the beginning of season 1, they started to do this with the return of Nolan, bringing Nolan back and telling his story about how he escaped captivity from Task Force 141 and is now working with Makarov, and why he was working with Makarov. It was starting to set up what was going on there. And they moved into Urzikstan, which for some reason Makarov wanted to destroy. He did not like the Urzikstan people. They never explained that, by the way. Why did all of this happen? Why was there no explanation of why Makarov hated Urzikstan? Why did they build up this giant character, one of the greatest bad guys of all time, and just have him flop as a horrible, horrible villain that just randomly shoots people? And yes, they kind of explained that with the flashback scene from Verdansk, with Makarov saying that they was going to get revenge. But again, horrible storytelling compared to what we saw in the two previous games. They just picked the wrong characters to do that. Why? The question is, why did this happen? And I think it's a very, very easy answer. This story was written and created by Infinity Ward, even up to some of the final missions like Flashpoint, like Operation 627, where Makarov was rescued from the prison. I think that much of it was designed by them. But when Sledgehammer was handed Modern Warfare 3 with an incomplete campaign. Number one, they didn't have time to finish it. And number two, they just didn't care because it is not their story. It is Infinity Ward's story. And what this meant is that they were handed a half-complete story that they did not care about, did not have time to finish. What really are they supposed to do? They essentially took Infinity Ward's baby and then threw it out the window because it just wasn't theirs. They didn't care to take care of it. And that is why in these seasonal cutscenes, we don't really see an addition to the story. We just see Sledgehammer promoting their Sledgehammer stuff. Because if I'm being honest, Sledge did a great job with the multiplayer. They did a great job adding a ton of different maps. They added a great job of adding weekly challenges and things to grind for. What they didn't do is make a great story, or in this case, continue a great story. And I think the reason for that is it just wasn't their story. They stopped caring about it altogether. And because of that, we should too. And the question is, where does this leave us with the Modern Warfare story going forward? And the truth to that is, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if they can even continue the Modern Warfare story with how brutally they did it with Modern Warfare 3. Like, what do they do? Just add another cutscene of Makarov and then... I don't even know how they would do that at this point, and it sucks because the crescendo to this Modern Warfare story should have been so good, and they just stopped caring. So that is what I think happened behind the scenes, but I'm curious to hear what you guys say. Were you as frustrated with this as me? What are your thoughts about what happened to the Modern Warfare story? This is kind of my dive into it and what I think about it, and of course I will have a full review of Modern Warfare 3 coming out probably in a week or two before the launch of Black Ops 6, but I just needed to put this out because Season 6 generally ends the story off for a Call of Duty game, and they didn't add any story whatsoever with this season. Zero. So I guess this is the end of the Modern Warfare 3 story, but really it ended much before this. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoy these type of story videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn notifications on. We will be covering this much more, the Call of Duty story, much more with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time.
We are